My name is Beau Daniels, and I'm a co-founder of Sports Academy as well as a company called Biomechanics, which I've run for 10 years. It's an integrated sports medicine practice, and we treat all sorts of athletes. Currently, I'm the chiropractor with the Rams and also one of the creators for the Helm. The Helm is one-piece injection mold plastic. It's made for use on the Bosu, on the Swiss ball, and on the ground. So one of the leading ideas, theories in research right now is how can we effectively increase neuromuscular control? And one of the things that goes along with that is stability training. There's lots of different benefits on stability training and core stabilization. It has the ability to predict where your foot is going to land, where your hand is going to hit a ball, where you're going to catch the ball. So if you put the Helm on a ball and you start to do a push-up, your body has to react, respond, and predict all the different movements that are going to take place to achieve a push-up or to achieve some sort of dynamic plank. One of the ideas behind it is that the entire time that you're using the Helm in a plank position, your body has to stabilize. It has to adjust. So at no point can you be perfectly still. Your shoulders, your core, they're always having to adjust to minor movements in the ball, the Swiss ball, or the Helm. If I'm in a push-up position on the Helm and I'm in a narrow grip, I'm constantly adjusting to those movements. My brain is having to react. I'm having to draw a very, very good connection from the brain to the musculature that feels and reacts to that movement. It's a really good example to use a lineman because they make contact, they go up under the pads, they're here. They're having to feel what's going on. And if they can react more effective, they can be better at their job. The results that we've had with the biomechanics study show that with regard to the core, there's a significant difference between doing a standard plank and doing a plank with the Helm. The way we tested it is we put the Helm on a box and did a push-up, put the Helm on a ball and did a push-up. One has a stable environment, the other has an unstable environment. In the unstable environment, or the design that the Helm is supposed to be used for, we saw increases 2 to 3 times in all of the musculature and up to 10 times in some of the musculature. So what you're doing is you're creating an increased calorie demand for what you're doing for this certain amount of time. So you're training core, you're training your rotator cuff, you're training stability, you're training strength, all in the same combination exercise. And so when you look at muscle growth or you look at overall fitness, you have to create a demand. And so if you don't really push yourself to the edge, your body's not going to understand that there's a demand there and I have to create more muscle. And so this helps to fatigue out the body in the small movers as well as targeting the large movers. And I've really seen some unique supersets and some burnout sets utilized by some of the guys that we've worked with doing exactly that. The Helm allows you to train with multi-directional instability, which is usually the last piece of the puzzle before you go return to play in a rehab scenario or a post-surgical scenario. A lot of times with an injury, you're limited to training in a couple different directions because you don't want to re-injure the joint. You don't want to re-injure the muscle. But before you return to play, you have to go back to that multi-directional instability type of training to prepare somebody to change directions, to take contact, to make sure that they prepare for the unknown. And one of the things that was really difficult about doing closed chain exercise with utilizing the stability ball is you would get on the ball and your hands would go into this very awkward position and it would cause a lot of wrist pain, especially for some of those athletes that they had trouble with wrist pain because they'd broken their wrist 5, 6, 20, 30 times. And so, coming up with an idea that this stability training is great for the core, for the shoulders, is awesome, but it kills their wrists. So how do we fix that? So with the Helm, there's the 3 different handle positions, and each one have a wrist neutral or an ergonomic position for a plank or a push-up, while using something like the stability ball. So one of the athletes that I trained with the Helm was a baseball pitcher. And he came into me and he had a very minor sore shoulder. So he came in, we worked on his shoulder, got it up to par, and I kind of talked to him a little bit about training and putting some miles an hour on his fastball, some speed, and the Helm was a big part of it. And so he trained with me for about 4 weeks, and then he went back to his baseball coach on the East Coast and texted me almost immediately. He's like, I put 4 miles an hour on my fastball. He went from 88 to 92 as a senior in high school, and if you know anything about baseball, that's a huge leap. And it was one of the things that made me recognize that when you put together core activation plus the ability to train the internal rotators, it puts together a throwing program for some of these overhead athletes that's very unique and beneficial for them because you can't get it anywhere else.